Hey everybody, thanks for stopping in. As you can tell by the way I'm dressed, it's rather warm today. It's mid-November and it's 75 degrees. But that does mean, as they say, winter is coming. And with winter comes power outage. And when the power goes out during extreme weather, you never miss it more. As soon as I turned the camera on and started talking, somebody broke out the leaf blower. Hopefully that's not gonna be too intrusive in the audio. But as I was saying, with winter comes power outages and you wanna be prepared for that. Nobody wants to be in the middle of winter, the electricity goes out, and with that goes the heat. Not to mention every other function in your house. A while back I did a product review on a power supply from a company called Aferiy. The thing about Aferiy is that they have created a line of power stations that rival the big national brands, and a lot of times their products are half the price. That's what we've got here. Aferiy just sent me this. This is a 3,800 watt hour power station. This thing can power most of the appliances in my house for a pretty good while. You can see this is a giant box, and the amazing thing about it is this thing costs half or less of what you would pay for a national competitor of the same product. You see how big this box is? It's enormous. It's heavy. It's not an easy thing to move around. But as you'll see once we get it unboxed, they've thought of that. Let's open this box up and see what's inside, and then let's talk a little bit more about what it can do. Inside the box, we've got a pouch that has all of our cables and our accessories in it. There's a dust cover, and of course the instruction books. All right, now for the big reveal. There it is. All right, let's see if I can get this out without hurting myself. Oh God, it's heavy. All right, let's give this a once over. There it is. You can see it has wheels to make it easy to get around. It has handles on the front and back to make it a lot easier to carry. There is our front panel that has all of our different kinds of output. Look at this. This has a 30 amp plug. I can hook my camper up to this thing. And then on the bottom, there's this really cool handle that makes it easier to do this. On the back, we have a light. We have our outlets. We also have the ability to plug it in on solar. One of the things that I love about these Aferiy units is that they can be hooked up to be used as a UPS power source, an uninterrupted power supply. I can leave this thing plugged into the wall. I can plug whatever appliance into it I need plugged into it, and if the power goes out, it will immediately switch over to being powered by the unit. So if you have something like a computer or freeze dryer or something like that that needs to stay running when the power goes out, you can hook it up to this, and it's going to operate just like one of those battery packs that you probably have on your computer at work. Now, just like most units like this, you have a power button that turns everything on. This one comes with only 29% charge on it, so we're going to need to charge it up and make sure it gets up to 100%. But there's also a monitor on here that tells you, with the current output, how long you can run this unit for. I can tell with any appliance that I plug in how long I'm going to be able to run it before I'm going to have to worry about it powering down. And then of course on these panels you're going to need to turn on whichever plugs you're using. So if you need DC, you have to turn on your DC power. If you're using your USB, you need to turn on your USBs. And of course, if you're using AC power down here, you got to turn that on. Now on the front here you see that there is a power input control knob. This will limit how much power can come into this unit. One of the reasons you want to do that is that if you input power at a lower rate, it extends the life of the batteries in here. But if you really need to power it up quickly, you can dial that up and you can get it as much power as you can for kind of a quick charge. And this can be expanded by adding extra batteries. You can put 2 additional batteries just in line with this unit. The unit has cooling fans inside so that it doesn't get overheated, and these will automatically kick on if it reaches a volatile temperature. All right, so we all understand this is a really cool device, but the design, all the stuff they put into it doesn't mean anything if it doesn't get us through a disaster. So now we need to do some testing. I'm going to charge this thing fully. We got a little bit of sun today, so I'm going to get out my Aferiy solar panels and set it out. We're going to plug it into here, see how well it charges, and then we're going to start running some tests to see how long we can run various appliances for, and maybe test and see if we can overload it. Let's put this to the test. Hey, buddy. Bobby's going to help. All right, our input is climbing. Wow, that's really efficient. This is a 200-watt solar panel unit, and we are already up to 142 watts. It's very rare you actually get to the full capacity of your solar panels, and that's not bad. I'll take that. All right, we're charging. What you doing, buddy? All right, of course, the first thing I'm going to test out is the fridge. Let's see how long we can run the refrigerator with this unit. So upon initial startup, it's saying it's going to run for 19 hours. That's not bad. I mean, typically most blackouts tend to be kind of short term anyway, but I do want you to notice this. Once the compressor stops running, there's no more power going to the fridge. So the unit resets its time calculations according to what it's giving out now. So it's really hard to say exactly how long this will run. It just depends on what kind of condition your compressor's in, how often it kicks on, and if people are going in and out of the fridge a lot while it's powered down. Not to mention, my recommendation for something like this is to turn the unit off every once in a while and just let it sit with no power going to the fridge for several hours at a time before turning it back on and letting the compressor get it back to cold temperatures. Next up, let's test it on a window unit air conditioner. I want to see just how much draw it's going to put on this system. Not to mention, when an air conditioner kicks on, there's a power surge. A lot of power stations can't handle that initial surge. So once everything's on, you can see how long this air conditioner is going to run. Next up, let's try out a space heater. This one I'm really curious about because space heaters are notoriously inefficient. More so than almost any device in your house, a space heater is going to pull a ton of power. You can see how much power this unit is having to put out just to run the space heater. Even then, we can still run it for 4 to 5 hours. Now, the downside to that is it's going to take a while to charge this thing back up. And if we don't have any power in the first place, then we're going to burn down everything we've got in 4 to 5 hours. Next, I want to see what happens if I put 2 energy sucking devices on this thing at the same time. See if it's going to shut it down. We're going to plug in the air conditioner and the heater and let them fight it out. And you can see how much power this thing is putting out to run these 2 devices. But it's still not overloading the system. We have a space heater and a window unit air conditioner, both pulling power, and it's just chugging away. It's been a few days working through this process to test this equipment. When I tell y'all every time I come out here to do this, somebody cranks up a leaf blower, I'm not lying to you. I don't understand. All right, so there it is. There's our testing for the Aferiy power station. I'm not going to go through a bunch of stuff just to see what this thing can do with this particular piece of equipment or that particular piece of equipment, because I think you can see easily what this thing's capable of. Now, I'm not sure why the box says 3,840 watt hours, yet the unit itself says 3,600. Somebody out there that understands these things a little better than I am, if you'll leave a comment down below and tell me what the reason is for that, I'd love to have an understanding of it. And also, I feel like other people are going to ask that question. Now, I was halfway through filming the video for this when the folks at Aferiy reached out to me and said, hey, look, we started doing some online research and determined that other companies had pretty good pricing for their Black Friday sales, and we wanted to be more competitive. So we've dropped our prices even more. So for the next few days, the Black Friday sale on this is insane. Trust me on this. If you've ever wanted to get a power station like this, now's the time to do it. These things are already stupid low priced anyway for the quality and everything that you get in this packet. But right now the Black Friday sale is crazy. So go after that and check it out. See how much you can save on this unit. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with it. Overall, I continue to be thoroughly impressed by the products that this company is coming out with. These things are great additions to your preps. Hey Bobby, what are you doing, buddy? You can go eat the guy with the leaf blower. But with all that being said, here's my rundown for my expectations with this product. If you're doing simple everyday functions during a blackout, this thing's gonna get it done for you. If you're trying to keep your entire house hot or cold, it's not gonna do it. You're just not gonna have the power to do that. The space heater that I was using is an energy hog. Now what I would do if I had a blackout in freezing cold weather, which I expect we will at some point, is I would take this upstairs and plug it into my home central heating unit. The reason for that is my heat is gas, but it's electrically powered. So the fan that blows it needs electricity. I have a feeling that this could run that fan very efficiently, much more so than trying to generate heat in the process. So my guess is this is going to give me better results using it that way than trying to use space heaters. Now, running it during the summer to run the air conditioning, if you've got a room in your house with a window unit where you and the family can gather, then you'll be able to run it pretty well using this unit. Now, my setup for it during the summer would be that I would find every solar panel I've got, set up an array out here, and then run the cables through the window to charge this thing up while it's powering my air conditioner. Because unlike a lot of power stations, this thing is designed to be able to run while it's being charged. And as you've already seen, this thing can put out some power without overloading it. But that's all I can say about this unit. Go check out their Black Friday sale. If you're in a position to do so, if you've been looking for these things, trust me on this. I'm not gonna steer you wrong with a product like this. They're not paying me to say this. They just sent this thing to me and asked me to try it. So I can tell you without a doubt, this is going to meet your needs. It's not a whole house generator, but it's going to run the things that you absolutely have to run during a power outage situation. So go check it out, tell them Dad Budget Adventures sent you, and until the next one, prepare for the world that you live in, not the one you wish existed. And we'll see you around.